الرحيم إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفر إنه كان توابا صدق الله العلي العظيم. یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما اے معصوم کم اے معصوم کم اے ہمشیر رضا یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما. راز کی بات ایک مجھ کو سمجھ آئی ہے راز کی بات ایک مجھ کو سمجھ آئی ہے اصل میں آپ کی مشہد میں شہنشاہی ہے کم سے ملتی ہے جبھی کم سے ملتی ہے جبھی سب کو مشہد کی رضا یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما. آپ معصوم کم اور وہ جناب زینب آپ معصوم کم اور وہ جناب زینب دونوں بہنیں ہوئی معروف ولایت کے سبب وہ ہے ہمشیر حسین وہ ہے ہمشیر حسین آپ ہمشیر رضا یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما. فقہ و عرفان و جفر پر ہے حکومت تیری فقہ و عرفان و جفر پر ہے حکومت تیری علم کے شہر کے شہری ہے رعیت تیری علم کا شہر تیرا علم کا شہر تیرا اس کا دروازہ تیرا یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما. اپنی مانند تمہیں واحد و یکتا رکھا تم کو اللہ نے اس واسطے تنہا رکھا دونوں عالم میں نہ تھا دونوں عالم میں نہ تھا کوئی بھی کفو تیرا یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما یا کریما.
Now I request Maulana Sayyid Hadi Yassin to come to the podium and address us. For it will be a health, prosperity and long life. Please recite a louder salawat. Ladies, please you can come into the main hall. The speech is going to be starting now.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا وأبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين من لعنة الدائمة لأعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى لقاء يوم الدين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Our condolences on the demise of Sayyidah Ma'sooma, Fatima Ma'sooma, first and foremost to her brother Imam Rida alayhi salatu wassalam, to the Imam of our time, and to you mu'mineen and mu'minat, inshaAllah. We ask Allah to give us tawfiq to be able to act upon the recommendations and be on the path, inshaAllah. In the Ziyarat Naumeh, and the Ziyarat of Sayyidah Ma'sooma in Qom, we recite one phrase, one part of the dua that says, Inna laki sha'nan min sha'n. For you there is sha'n, there is maqam, there is position. Inna laki inda Allahi sha'nan min sha'n. For you, with Allah, there is a sha'n, position and maqam. We're talking about someone that apparently is not among the 14 Ma'soom, not apparently, in reality, not among 14 Ma'soomeen, and not a prophet, not an imam. We're talking about someone, Imam Zadeh. Inna laki inda Allahi sha'nun min sha'nin. Zara Shulab said, Sha'an maqam. She has a sha'an with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which the ziyarat of Sayyidah Ma'sooma comes from Ma'sooma. Comes from Ma'soom. We don't have very, very few like our father. There's Ziyarat Naumeh comes from another Ma'soom. Before herself. Before she was born, they had the Ziyarat Naumeh for her. So, to open this topic, to see what happened, who was this lady, and what made her to be at this level, when you look to see how we should think about the values of human beings, beside the Ma'soomeen, what are the ways that we have to see what are their values? How do we give them the credits? How we have, of course, Islamically and spiritually. The value of us, after Ma'soom, us means whole human beings, depends on their ma'rifah towards the Imam of their time. The ma'rifah that they're going to say who is better than others, it depends on the level of the ma'rifah towards who? The Imam of their time. And how much they help the Imam of their time at the moment. Which is the whole taqwa, by the way. Don't say, Inna akramakum inda Allah taqwa, inda Allah atqakum. This is exactly taqwa. We're going to talk about it how much ma'rifah towards it. When you look at the ahdaf and the goals of Imams and Ahlul Bayt at their time, they're different. Each of them, they had different goal and mission in their time, right? Imam Ali had one mission. He has. One of them has to go to war, another one has to do sulh and peace, another one has to be in prison, another one has to immigrate, Imam Rida, right? Different mission, different goals. The value of the companion of each Hujjat of Allah, each Imam, depends how much they help the Ma'soom in that specific mission. You follow me? Depends how much the Ashab, the companion or people of each time, how much they support the Imam of their time towards the mission of that. For example, if the Ashab of Imam Hassan والسلام, if the Ashab of Imam Hassan, they act as the Ashab of Imam Hussein in Karbala and they want to fight, Imam Hassan said peace. If they want to fight, it is wrong, it's not going to be accepted. If Ashab of Imam Hussein are going to make the peace, to act like what the Ashab of Imam Hassan are supposed to do, it's wrong, it's not going to be accepted. It's not going to be accepted. Why? Because you have to know the Imam of your time and follow and help the Imam of your time. Why Imam Hussein keeps encouraging others and asking them to come and help him. We know that Imam doesn't need help. What is it? As we always say, they need help. This is their salvation. This is their salvation. Even if your son, your daughter, they don't come to eat, you go tell them, come, food, dinner, lunch. I know you're playing video game, but that's the time you have to eat. You help them, you support them. So this is the value of each qawm, each people, each ashab, each companion at the time of each imam. Alright? All the way it comes to the time of Imam Rida alayhi salatu wasalam. His biggest mission is what? Who knows? The biggest mission of Imam Rida alayhi salatu wasalam is immigration from Medina to Khurasan, to Marib, Iran at that time, right? It's the biggest thing. He has to leave everything. And we know the wisdom and hikmah behind the missions of Ahlul Bayt. Now we understand the wisdom of hikmah, of the peace of Imam Hassan. What Imam Hassan did. The whole world, they know Imam Islam and Mecca of Ahlul Bayt because of Imam Hassan, right? Imam Rizal, the biggest things here is immigration of him comes to somewhere that he does not belong to that area at all. Today, when you look, you see that he made the station for the Shia. You see that by this immigration happens, Imam Rizal comes to Marib Khurasan. He recommended Bani Abbas and Ma'mun to change their capital from Khurasan, from Iran to where? Baghdad, Iraq. What happened as soon as Bani Abbas moved to Baghdad? Khurasan and Iran was all free. No more strict supervision by Bani Abbas. Who is there? Imam Allah, quote unquote, Bali Ahd, that he didn't accept it to be the successor of Ma'mun. So now the position is ready, the situation is ready for Imam Rida to start spreading the ma'arif of Ahlul Bayt. And teaching them about this ma'arif and everything, and making this strong. While Imam Rida is in Mashhad, in Marib at that time, of course he's the Imam of the time. The Imam and the most important figure of Bani Hashim, right? Two big caravan came from the area of Medina towards Iran and Khurasan. One caravan of Shah Chiraq in Shiraz in Iran. Another one, the caravan of Sayyid Ma'sum alayhi salam. When they reached from the west of Iran, they reached Salveh. There's an area called Salveh. There was a fight between the government and with them and stuff like that. Anyhow, the people of Qom came and took Sayyid Fatima Ma'suma to Qom. And Shah Chiraq, he went to all these two, Shah Chiraq, they are the sons of Imam Musa Kazim, right? He went to Shiraz in Iran, as the Ma'suma went to Qom. What attracted them to come? Imam Rizal. When they came, a lot of Imam Zadeh came with them as well, right? The whole cardinal. The number of Imam Zadeh being known in Iran, 7,000 Imam Zadeh are right now buried in Iran, known. Some of them might not be known. In different regions, because when they came different directions, and each of them they were running away from the government and following different directions. So each of them were different direction, became each of them one source payagam and a station for Shia. One source of Islam at that region, each of them. Now if you see, you go to a village in the north of Iran, for example, you see that there is the haram, the small haram, not the haram, the small area, Qubba for that Imam Zadeh is someone, and so Imam Zadeh is someone. At least even the furthest area over there, what happened? They spread it. What happened here? That everywhere you have access to some source that is connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we can say that on top of all these Imams that they came, say the Ma'suma is number one. So the Fatima Ma'suma is number one. And now you see that what happened by the entrance when they, as the Ma'suma were buried in Qom, Qom became the station of Ulum Ahlul Bayt. That everything, say the number of Maraja from Qom comes, the knowledge about Islam has been developed and spread from Qom. Because of who? The Ma'sum. the barakat of wujud and maqam of Hazrat Masuma. فَإِنَّ لَكَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الشَّأْنُ مِنْ شَأْنِ. There is maqam for you in the ziyarat of Hazrat Masuma. There is a maqam for you with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That maqam attracts people. That maqam brings blessings too. Of course, Hazrat Masuma, she passed away 2 years before the Shahada of Muhammad. Before the Shahada of Muhammad. What attracted? She was going to go to who? To Imam of her time. We said the maqam and sha'na of everyone depends their ma'rifah towards who? The Imam of their time. She can't wait. Not necessarily for her brother. She can't wait to go join the Imam of her time. Habib ibn Mazahir from Kufa, it's closed. The gates are closed. They have to find a way, a shortcut to run out after, to run out of the city Kufa to go join Imam Hussein alayhi. They can't wait. He's crying. He says, I can't wait. Hussein is coming. Hussein is coming. No, I can't wait. I have to go. I have to go join him. And at that time, there's nothing about the war and Karbala and killing and nothing yet. Right? But he can't wait. He said, I have to go join my Imam. I have to go join. The maqam comes with this. A beautiful hadith, let me tell you. If you decide salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. A group of people came from Qom to Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu. When? Imam Sadiq. The son of Imam Sadiq is who? Imam Qasim. The son of Imam Qasim is who? Imam Rizal. The daughter of Imam Qasim is before Imam Qasim became Imam, at the time of Imam Sadiq. 3 people from Qom went to Ziyarat of Imam Sadiq, to daughter. As soon as they went there, Imam Sadiq 3 times it says, Marhaba, and welcome to brothers from Qom. 3 times. We know that. Then they, remember I said in, I think, Khutbah Jum'ah, it says, or last night I said, when there's a repetition in the ayat and the ayat, there's something, right? Imam 3 times says, Marhaba, Khush Ahmadi, people of Qom, men from Qom. Then Imam says this hadith, very interesting. He said, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is haram in where? Mecca. For Rasulullah, there is haram in where? Medina. For Amir al-Mu'minin, there is haram in Kufa. The hadith says Kufa. Why? Because at that time we didn't have Najaf. At that time it was all Kufa. Najaf, they were calling it Zahrul Kufa, back of Kufa. Right now, Kufa. So Imam says what? The haram Amir is in Kufa. Then Imam says, وَلَنَا أَهْلُ الْبَيْتِ حَرَمًا, for us Ahlul Bayt, Allah, Rasulullah, Amir al-Mu'mineen, and he says, وَلَنَا أَهْلُ الْبَيْتِ حَرَمًا وَهُوَ قُوم. For us Ahlul Bayt, there is haram, and our haram is where? Qom. And immediately Imam says, وَقُوم سَتُدْفَنُ فِيهَا إِمْرَأَةٌ مِّنْ وُلْدِي. And Imam says, Ismaha Fatima. There would be a lady from my generation buried in Qom. Her name is Fatima. That means that haram of Ahlul Bayt in Qom, that means Hazrat al-Masuma. Think about it again. Haram of Allah, haram of Rasulullah, for all us Ahlul Bayt. The rest, our haram is in where? This needs a huge interpretation and a tafsir what that means here. What is the maqam of this lady to this level? Who is saying Imam Sadiq? Ra'ith Maktabish. The knowledge of Islam comes from, spread from him, right? What is about this lady, Sayyid Fatima, that her haram becomes the haram of Ahlul Bayt? Haram of Ahlul Bayt. Very interesting. Keep thinking about this. What is her characteristics? And again, in parentheses, when we say about haram of Allah, haram Ahlul Bayt, haram, Allah is everywhere. Doesn't mean that Allah is in that haram. Doesn't mean Allah is in Kaaba. Doesn't mean Allah is haram Rasulullah, haram Amir al-Mu'minin. No, Allah is everywhere. Allah is here, right? But there are certain places that Allah has specific blessings and inayat to those places. He said himself, we have traditions a lot like this. That in certain locations, remember we had a discussion about this, that masjid is a simple masjid, has a location. 2 rakat salat in masjid is more than the 2 rakat salat out of masjid. The location is important, as time in Islam is important, right? Allah is everywhere, but certain locations are important. Those importance comes because of the inayat and the blessings of Allah to those locations. Very interesting. When you look, you see that those areas were about and belonged and related to those people that they tried to be sincerely related to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He himself, what made him that? Because of who he was, his shakhsiyat, his personality, his raftar, his manner, he becomes what? The source. Now if you want to get close to Allah, this is the path, this is the way that you go. One of those areas is what? Haram Sayyid al-Masum. See how many maraji we have. Big maraji. That they were standing, still standing in front of the Zarih of Sayyid al-Masum, right? We're not talking about the Imam, we're not talking about the Prophet, we're talking about the daughter of one of the Imams. Standing in front of them and recite the Ziyarat Nawma and do so much ihtiram and respect to this lady. And they're gaining from it. Imam Khomeini rahmatullah alayh was saying that when he was in Najaf, the whole time that he was in Najaf, every single night he was going to Ziyarat Amir al-Mu'min. Every single night. One night, his son Mustafa became shaheed. It looks like, the story is that the weather was very bad. Then his son told him, well, you don't have to go, that Amir al-Mu'min, you don't have to go to Haram to do Ziyarat Nama, you can decide Ziyarat Nama from here. Imam looked and says, Mustafa, don't take this awam manner from us. Awam manner is that you have to definitely go there, right? Imam says, don't take it away from us. Imam says, don't take it away from me. I want to go. As long as I can and I have power, I want to go to Ziyarat. Ayatollah Bahjat is Arif ibn Allah. 70-something years, every single day he was going to Haram. Either Haram Hazrat Ma'asuma or Haram Mamzah or Najaf when he was in it. He's going to Haram. There's something that comes from it. When that location becomes the source of what? The source of power. The source of blessings to others. That becomes I need to talk about this. Ayatollah Marashi Najafi, you might have heard about him. Shahabuddin Marashi. His son is saying that we were in Najaf. My father he was taking some, we call it the riyazat. You know riyazat? Going through some difficult spiritual training to gain something. Islamically. Because Hindus in India might go through some difficult, rough training to gain some power. But Islamically, we have some riyazat, some zikr, some situation that gave it. His intention for ziyarat was, for this riyazat, was what riyazat means difficulty. For this riyazat was to find the grave of who? Hazrat Fatima, Sayyid Fatima, Salamullahi alayhi. He wanted to find the grave of him. Then one night, Imam Sadiq comes to him. Imam Sadiq tells him, Sayyid Shahab, his name Shahabuddin, Sayyid Shahab, what's going on? What are you doing? He said, I'm taking this riyazat and this difficulty in order to find the grave of Sayyid Fatima. Imam Sadiq told him that, alayka bil qum. Leave that. Qum. Imam Sadiq told him. In parentheses, well, there are some hikmah, you're not supposed to find it. Second, عليك بالقوم. Then his son says, after that, my father wrapped up everything and he immigrated to home. From Najaf he went to his mom said, عليك بالقوم. عليك means you have to go to home. If you want to do something, to gain something, or to go to home. What is this commonalities and common things between Hazrat Zahra sallallahu and Sayyidina Masuma, right? The Imam Salah tells him from. Very interesting. When we say Ummul A'imma, what comes to your mind? No, what is the meaning of Ummul A'imma? So that's it? Just because physically the Imams comes from Hazrat Zahra, we call him Ummul A'imma? No. That's true, by the way. One of the biggest meaning of is what? Reisha, root. Is the origin of something. Hazrat Zahra sallallahu is what? The origin of all khair of Ahlul Bayt comes from Hazrat Zahra. Anything that Ahlul Bayt have, anything that they have, the 11 Imam comes from who? Hazrat Zahra sallallahu. The purity from that generation. The head of that spring, crystal clear spring is what? Hazrat Zahra sallallahu, right? Imam Salih, he said himself, right? He says, you come to us, we are hujjah for you guys, all of us human beings, and hujjah for us is who? Our mother Zahra, right? Means what? That origin. It looks like Hazrat Masuma became that what? Origin in Qom that is producing these blessings for Islam right now. You have to go there to see what is happening in the science of Islam and knowledge in Islam and everything. Ulum of Quran and Ahlul Bayt over there, what is happening. That what is going on right now, I can tell you, it's equal in the last few decades, it's equal to last few centuries in the whole Shia and Islam century, Islam, history. That is happening. All because what? What is attracting them? Someone who was mukhlis and sincere and had ma'rifah towards the Imam of her time. You want another example? Habib ibn Mazahir. The haram, the zarih of Habib ibn Mazahir is where? Have you been in Karbala? The zarih of Habib ibn Mazahir is next to the zarih of Imam Hussein. You go to the other one, next to it is many people say, what is this little zarih over there? It's the zarih of Habib ibn Mazahir. What made him have Habib is a simple guy, he was not Masum at all, he was not even son of the Imam or anything, right? What happened? The ma'rifat of Habib towards the Imam of his time. Arzish. You do it, they know how to take care of that. You don't worry. Habib didn't go, so he will be next to Imam Hussein. But look how Allah is giving them. When Habib arrived, from Kufa, he reached the Haram of Imam Hussein. Hazrat Zainab became happy. Alhamdulillah, Habib came. How much urbat that an old guy comes and Hazrat Zainab becomes happy. They knew that no one else would come and support. Habib came with Muslim, two old guy came. How much they were in ghurbat and they were innocent and nothing were there. How much zulm and cruelty were against them that two old people comes and Hazrat Zainab prayed for Habib. They were looking for support to come, right? They were looking for support. What made this ma'rifah? This shuhada of Karbala, we keep ziyarat, ziyarat al-waris and everything, is because of what? What made them eternal? You know what I mean by eternal? In this dunya, by the name never be removed, inshallah, from this dunya. What made them to be eternal in this dunya and their name never be away from this dunya and in the heart of mu'mineen is what? What did they do? You tell me, what did they do? They supported the Imam of their time, that's it. And now, how many mu'min in the world they recite the ziyarat and for them, and their haram, their zari is next to, their graves are next to Imam Hussein. What made them? Then, our responsibility and our mission is clear. I mean, throughout the history was that, forget about imams, any prophet came, the mission of the prophet, the people of that time was what? To support the prophet, the hujjat of Allah. Musa comes, you have to go help Musa in his mission. Isa comes, Ibrahim, you're supposed to go support and help him. Nuh comes, you have to go join him. No, physically go join him, right? How come Allah so stopped this mission? I mean this sunnah and tradition? So all the way from the beginning of the universe, Allah keeps saying, this is my hujjah, this is my representative. All people go to Him, and all of a sudden when it comes to Islam, Allah says, okay, we don't need this anymore. It doesn't work this way. It's the sunnah. When Allah has the sunnah, sunnah means what? A way, a custom, a tradition. So it goes throughout the whole world, or universe. So we see that it keeps it. So some people could say, no, we love you so much. We love you so much, but we're not going to be with you in the ark. So, what kind of love is that? Allah was saying, we love you so much, but you know, we have something to do. It's equal to not going to the ark of Noah. And then Hussein, the masal of Hussein is what? Safina to Noah. Mathal Hussein, the example of Hussein is the mathal Safina to Noah. The ark of Noah. And at this time, the whole value, if you want to see in yourself, how much you have a spiritual value and maqam and sha'n and value in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala towards Allah and in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what? My ma'rifah, my path towards the hujjah of Allah. If we have a prophet today, my mission and my ma'rifah towards the prophet. If we have hujjah, let me tell you, yes, sometimes not the prophet, the successor of the prophet. When Musa went to Tur, 40 nights, right? Who was the hujjat from Musa? Harun, his brother. What was the responsibility of Bani Israel? To what? To listen to who? Oh, Harun is not, who's Harun? He's not a prophet. That's fine. He is the representative and successor of the hujjat of Allah. Isn't it? So anyone go against the path of Harun, you're against the path of Musa. I'm talking about history, I'm not talking about anything else, right? And that's very clear. Rasulullah, he was, for example, he had a commander in he was not in all the wars, right? He had a commander. He said, oh, this is the commander, you're going to war, you have to listen to who? To this commander. So now let's say, no Rasulullah, I just listen to you, not to whoever you're saying. So it doesn't work this way. The maqam of the hujjat of Allah, and it is impossible that in any era and time in this world, ila yawm al-qiyamah, to the end of the time, it's impossible that there's no hujjat of Allah. Beside the tradition and anything that we have, the sunnah of Allah is against this. The sunnah of Allah, from the beginning of creation of Adam, who he was the hujjat of Allah, we see that every single time there is a hujjat of Allah on the earth. There's a hujjat of Allah on the earth. And they not are just existing, they became the acts, mihvar of the whole world. See the wheel, the axe of it, everything rotates around it. The center of it. You see that hujjat of Allah became the what? The center. The whole world rotates around Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The whole world rotates around him. The whole mala'ik rotate around the hujjat of Allah, right? As they did to Adam, didn't they? They all bow down and do sajda towards Adam. Who is Adam? Who is Rasulullah? Not comparable, right? Who is Rasulullah? Qala Awsana, who is Adam? He's one of the students of Rasulullah, Adam, right? Everything is around Rasulullah. Everything. If they do sajda to Adam, imagine what they do to Rasulullah, right? The maqam of Rasulullah. So that's about this, and I can't even go deeper because inshallah step by step we go to deeper some of the traditions and the riyad that we have. And now we see that our ma'rifah towards the hujjat of Allah on this each time, and inshallah Allah will help us with that. Allah will help us. That's why we keep saying that we wish we could be in Karbala. We wish we could have that opportunity to sacrifice ourselves for hujjat of Allah in Karbala. When? At the most difficult moment for the Imam, the hujjat of Allah, being so qareeb, and children, innocent children of this Imam. Never happened. We want to say to Imam Raza alayhi salatu wasalam, Yabna Rasulullah, we know how difficult it was. We know you were far away from your own hometown, Medina. We know you were qareeb. We know that no one was there.
But you know that after your shahada, the whole people of Marv came, very respectfully they participated, their funerals. But you said to yourself, Yabna Sharif, kunta bakiyan ala Sharif Abkil al-Hussein. Aman, as our Imam Hussein, not only they didn't come to respect him, whoever had anything in their hands, they attack the son of Rasulullah with that. If they had sword, they were attacking and hurting Imam with sword. If they had spears, they were hurting Imam with that. The reporter said some of them didn't have anything in their hand. They were picking stones from the ground and they were hitting the body, beautiful and holy body of Imam Hussein. And on that side, we talk about Sayyida Ma'asuma, but on that side, Sayyida Zainab is standing. She's witnessing everything, what is happening to her brother, and she has to be patient and sober for the sake of Allah. How difficult the whole center of the world underground, Hussein, how angels could tolerate this moment. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Whatever happened to Sayyida Ma'asuma, at least she didn't see the head of her brother on his beard. We know how difficult it was for her, but she didn't see the beautiful ears of children of Hussein bleeding because they pull out the earrings from it. Sayyida Ma'asuma, you should cry for Zainab salamullahi alayha and masa'ib of Zainab as well. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. All together. السلام على الحسين ابن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. اللهم عجل لبنيك الفرج عافية والناس ومد في عمره الشريف وزين الأرض بطول بقائه وجعلنا من عوانه وأنصاره وشيعته يا رحمن يا رحيم. ثبت قلوبنا على دينك بحق الحسين هيثم الظهور فهو إمام ما مهدي. Give us tawfiq to have more ma'rifah towards our Imam. Give us tawfiq to support and help our Imam towards his mission. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, those who have hajat, because specifically, my dear brothers and sisters, with them all khair hajat. Those who are under difficulties, provide opportunities for their freedom. Those who are sick, cure them, and those who passed away, send the tabab and reward out of our messages to their soul. رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. وعجل اللهم في فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله صلى الله عليك يا حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين ويا وصي رسول رب العالمين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي أيها المظلوم. السلام عليك يا حسين بن علي أيها الشهيد بكربلاء وعلى 9 المعصومين من ولدك صلى الله عليك يا صاحب الزمن يا إمام الإنس والجن يا شريك القرآن الأمان الأمان ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلوات.
So